Hey everyone, let's dive into Project 2025, a controversial initiative that's stirring up quite a buzz in political circles. This project has been the subject of heated debates, with opinions sharply divided on its potential impact on the future of US governance. Project 2025 is spearheaded by the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank known for its influential role in shaping policy. The foundation has a long history of advocating for conservative principles and has been a key player in many significant policy shifts over the years. It's essentially a detailed blueprint for a potential Republican administration to reshape the federal government. The plan outlines a comprehensive strategy to overhaul various aspects of governance, aiming to implement a more streamlined and efficient system. The plan is bold, aiming to centralize power within the executive branch and drastically cut the size of federal agencies and programs. This includes reducing bureaucratic red tape and eliminating what proponents see as unnecessary layers of government. The core idea behind Project 2025 is that the federal government has become too big and unaccountable. Supporters argue that a leaner government would be more responsive to the needs of the people and more effective in its operations. The folks behind the project believe that by downsizing, they can promote free markets and reduce regulations, creating what they see as a more efficient and responsive government. They argue that a smaller government would foster innovation and economic growth by allowing businesses to operate with fewer constraints. But not everyone is on board. The project has sparked significant opposition from various quarters, including political analysts, activists, and ordinary citizens who fear the potential consequences of such sweeping changes. Critics argue the Project 2025 poses a significant threat to democratic norms and the balance of power within the US government. They worry that centralizing power in the executive branch could lead to an erosion of checks and balances, which are fundamental to the American democratic system. They worry that centralizing power could undermine the checks and balances fundamental to American democracy. This concern is particularly pronounced among those who fear that such a shift could lead to an authoritarian style of governance. Now let's take a closer look at some key policy areas. These areas are at the heart of the debate surrounding Project 2025 and highlight the stark differences in vision between supporters and opponents of the initiative. In terms of climate change, Project 2025 advocates for a complete reversal of current climate policies. This includes a shift away from renewable energy sources and a renewed focus on traditional energy industries. This includes promoting fossil fuels and rolling back environmental regulations. Proponents argue that this approach would lead to energy independence and economic growth, particularly in regions reliant on fossil fuel industries. Supporters argue this will spur economic growth, while critics warn it could worsen climate change and its associated risks. The potential environmental impact of such policies is a major point of contention, with opponents highlighting the long-term consequences for the planet. In healthcare, Project 2025 aims to dismantle the Affordable Care Act and replace it with a market-driven system. This would represent a significant shift in how healthcare is provided and funded in the United States. The idea is that less government intervention can lead to lower costs and better outcomes. Proponents believe that a market-driven system would increase competition, drive down prices, and improve the quality of care. However, detractors argue it could leave many without essential healthcare coverage. They fear that a market-driven system would prioritize profit over patient care, leading to disparities in access to healthcare services. When it comes to immigration, the project calls for stricter border controls and limitations on legal immigration. This is seen as a way to enhance national security and protect American jobs. Proponents say this protects national security and American jobs, but opponents argue it could harm the economy and social cohesion. They point out that immigrants play a crucial role in various sectors of the economy, and that restrictive policies could lead to labor shortages and other economic challenges. Despite its ambitious scope, Project 2025 has faced significant setbacks. The initiative has encountered resistance from various stakeholders, including political leaders, advocacy groups, and the general public. The initiative's director recently stepped down amid controversy, and even former President Trump has distanced himself from it. This has raised questions about the project's viability and its ability to achieve its stated goals. This has cast doubt on the project's future and its potential impact on policy discussions. The uncertainty surrounding Project 2025 has led to a broader debate about the direction of U.S. governance and the role of ideology in shaping public policy. The emergence of Project 2025 has ignited a crucial conversation about the future of U.S. governance and the role of ideology in shaping public policy. This debate is not just about the specifics of the project, but also about the broader principles that should guide the country's governance. The deep divisions within American society are on full display, highlighting the high stakes involved in this ongoing debate. The discussions around Project 2025 reflect the broader ideological divides that characterize contemporary American politics. So, is Project 2025 a new era or just a mirage? The answer to this question remains uncertain, as the project continues to evolve and its implications are debated. The answer remains uncertain, but one thing's clear. The conversation about the direction of U.S. policy is far from over. As the debate continues, it will be crucial to stay informed and engaged with the issues at hand. Thanks for tuning in, and stay informed. The future of U.S. governance is a topic that affects us all, and it's important to be aware of the various perspectives and potential outcomes. Pause, 2-point halves. Now that we've laid out the broad strokes of Project 2025, let's delve deeper into its core agenda and the potential implications for democracy in the United States. The agenda is ambitious, with significant proposed changes that could reshape the democratic landscape as we know it. First, let's talk about the proposed changes to the legislative process. Project 2025 advocates for a more streamlined legislative framework, aiming to reduce the influence of what they consider special interest groups. This includes limiting the scope and power of lobbyists and increasing transparency in the legislative process. While the aim is to make the government more accountable to the people, critics argue that such measures could also limit the diversity of voices that contribute to policymaking, potentially centralizing power further within the executive branch. Next, the agenda includes significant reforms to the judiciary. Project 2025 proposes measures to expedite judicial appointments and streamline the judicial review process. This could lead to a judiciary that is more aligned with the executive's vision, raising concerns about the erosion of judicial independence. Proponents argue that this will make the judiciary more efficient and responsive, while opponents fear it could undermine the checks and balances essential to a functioning democracy. In terms of electoral processes, Project 2025 aims to implement stricter voter ID laws and overhaul the voter registration system. The goal is to enhance election security and integrity, but critics warn that such measures could disenfranchise vulnerable populations and reduce voter turnout. The debate around these changes highlights the ongoing tension between ensuring election security and maintaining broad access to the democratic process. Furthermore, the project calls for a re-evaluation of federal oversight in state governance. By reducing federal intervention, Project 2025 seeks to empower state governments, promoting a more decentralized form of governance. Supporters believe this will lead to more tailored and effective policies at the state level. However, detractors argue that it could result in a fragmented national policy landscape, with significant disparities in governance and public services across states. Lastly, Project 2025 includes a push for significant regulatory rollbacks. The aim is to reduce what proponents see as burdensome regulations that stifle economic growth and innovation. This includes relaxing regulations in sectors such as finance, healthcare, and environmental protection. While supporters believe this will spur economic activity and create jobs, opponents caution that it could lead to reduced protections for consumers, workers, and the environment. In summary, the specifics of the Project 2025 agenda reflect a vision of governance that prioritizes efficiency, decentralization, and deregulation. However, these proposed changes also raise critical questions about the balance of power, the role of the judiciary, and the inclusivity of the democratic process. The potential impacts on democratic norms and practices are profound, making it essential for citizens to stay informed and engaged as these debates unfold. Pause 2.5s. As we continue to monitor the developments around Project 2025, it's important to consider both the potential benefits and the risks associated with such sweeping changes. The future of U.S. governance and democracy depends on informed and active participation from all of us. Thanks for tuning in, and stay informed. The future of U.S. governance is a topic that affects us all, and it's important to be aware of the various perspectives and potential outcomes. Pause 2.5s. While Project 2025 promises a streamlined and efficient governance model, it's crucial to explore who might be adversely affected by these sweeping changes. The implications reach far and wide, touching various aspects of American life and affecting specific groups more acutely. First, let's consider vulnerable populations, such as low-income communities and minorities. Stricter voter ID laws, as proposed by Project 2025, could disproportionately impact these groups. Many individuals in these communities face challenges in obtaining the necessary identification, potentially leading to lower voter turnout and diminished political representation. Critics argue that this could weaken the democratic principle of equal participation. Next, let's examine the economic landscape. The proposed regulatory rollbacks in sectors like finance, healthcare, and environmental protection could have significant repercussions. Deregulation in the financial sector might spur economic activity, but it also raises the risk of financial instability and crises reminiscent of the 2008 financial meltdown. In healthcare, rolling back regulations could lead to reduced protections for patients, potentially increasing the cost of care and limiting access to essential services for the most vulnerable. Environmental deregulation, while aimed at boosting economic growth, could result in long-term harm to public health and safety. Communities living near industrial sites might face increased exposure to pollutants, leading to higher rates of respiratory illnesses and other health issues. The push for economic growth must be balanced with the need to protect the environment and public health. Furthermore, the proposed changes to the judiciary could have lasting social consequences by expediting judicial appointments and aligning the judiciary more closely with the executive's vision. There's a risk of eroding judicial independence. This could undermine the judiciary's role as a check on executive power, potentially affecting the rights and freedoms of individuals. The judiciary's ability to protect civil liberties and ensure justice could be compromised, impacting marginalized communities the most. Lastly, the decentralization of federal oversight and state governance could lead to significant disparities in public services and protections across states. While some states might thrive under reduced federal intervention, others could struggle to provide essential services, leading to inequalities in healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The fragmentation of national policy could exacerbate existing regional disparities, leaving some Americans without the support they need. In summary, while Project 2025 aims to create a more efficient and decentralized governance model, it's essential to consider the potential human impact. Vulnerable populations, economic stability, public health, judicial independence, and regional inequalities are all at stake. As we navigate these proposed changes, it's crucial to weigh the benefits against the risks and ensure that the voices of all Americans are heard and considered. Pause 2.5s. Thanks for tuning in. Stay informed and engaged, because the future of U.S. governance impacts us all. Together, we can strive for a balanced and inclusive approach to shaping our democracy.